बेबी रोटारियन को डाकी चकी हाउ
स्टार्ट करिवे
हां करंतु बेबी दी
हाँ कहला इना हाँ करला बेबी स्टार्ट करो
हाँ let us start our meeting call to order. Now our request district chairman Innerville district 3 to 6 Mrs. Sina Purohit to put on the collar.
You already put on it. Thank you, baby. Thank you, Rashmika.
Now, thank you. Now request our club secretary Snigdha Purba to recite the Innerville prayer. Let us raise our right hand for prayer.
Instill in us, O Lord, the true meaning of friendship. Never let us forget that we are all the children, notwithstanding the differences in our culture and creed. Endow us with a desire to serve our fellow men, remembering that too we often need help whenever or wherever the need for service arises. Help us to be ready to serve, endeavoring to make our batch of inner will worthwhile, and ensuring that we have not lived in vain. Thank you.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Now this is the time for lighting the lamp. I request Abhishek to show the video.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
इनरविल की इस दुनिया में हम सबको हंसना सिखाते हैं कदम कदम पर साथ निभाकर सही राह दिखलाते हैं
Thank you, Abhishek. Very good evening to all of you. Warm Innerville greetings. I welcome you all virtual webinar on orphan and old people. This webinar was the last wish of P.P. Madhuchanda Maharana, who went to heavenly abode on 11 September. She was the one who was arranging this webinar and speaker also. I welcome District Chairman, Innerville District 3 to 6, respected Mrs. Ina Purohit. I welcome our esteemed guest, today's keynote speaker, Mrs. Rita Misar, Recovery Advisor, United Nations Development Program, Crisis Bureau, New York, to this August gatherings. I also welcome District Vice Chairman, Manisha Srivastav, Association Council Member, Mrs. Jagruti Doshi, District Secretary, Mrs. Rasika Bahadur, District Treasurer, Mrs. Sandharani Misra, District USO T. Chiranjeevi, District ISO Madhusmita Tripathi, District Editor Anjana Bhamra. I also heartily welcome all the past district chairmen present here. I also welcome all the zonal coordinators, District 3 to 6 present here. I am happy to welcome all the presidents, secretaries, and all the members of District 3 to 6. I also welcome President of Rotary Club of Cuttack, Mahanagar, Rotarian Devi Prasad Misra, and President of Rotary Club of Cuttack Golden Star, Rotarian Mr. Manoranjan Acharya. I also welcome Chartered Accountant Rotarian Prasanta Mahapatra and all the Rotarians present here. Today, there is a great need to care for the neglected, abandoned, orphan, and the old. Innerville aims at administering to the physical and emotional needs of the orphans and the old. Our community benefits when we help orphan children. Instead of harming themselves and others, they grow up to be responsible, healthy adults that give back to the community they live in instead of taking from it. The good that is done is generational. In the same way, we should provide good care to the elderly in the society. This stops them from feeling isolated and depressed. We should provide them a sense of community, social life that empowers and energizes them. So let us start being sensitive to the needs of the orphans and the old around us. Thank you. Now I request Abhishek, please show the video of floral welcome of guest. Thank you, Abhishek. Now, I hand over this virtual meeting to our webinar chairman, IPP, Mrs. Nalini Mahanti.
Good evening. Innerville Namaskar to all. I thank President and I am privileged to be the webinar chairman of today's webinar, Orphan and Old People. Orphan are those who are less privileged and have lost both parents or one parent. The orphan, if not managed properly, tends to be beggar or vagabond. Old people are them who have retired from their job, their responsibility to some extent. The connection which I can make is both are in need of assistance to take care of both. Both need a strong pillar which would support their living. To know more about the upcoming issue created by human, we Inner Wheel Club of Cuttack Silver City have invited Mrs. Rita Misal, a recovery advisor, to clarify the relation and the issues uprising. We are glad to have our district chairman, Mrs. Inna Purohit, with us as chief guest. I welcome you both guests with us. As I welcome you both guests speakers with this. I welcome district executive committee members, galaxy of past presidents, zonal coordinators, presidents, secretaries, Inner Wheel Club members, Rotarians, friends, and families. I request Jharna Patnaik to introduce our keynote speaker to the August gathering.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Rita Misal is the Global Recovery Advisor for United Nations Development Program Crisis Bureau. Based in New York office, Rita is a post-disaster recovery practitioner with over 20 years of experience in the field of disaster recovery. She started her career in disaster management after the super cyclone in Odisha in 1999 at the UN office in Bhubaneswar, and then after the Asian tsunami in 2004, moved to the Maldives to manage the disaster recovery program there. Since 2007, Rita has been working in various positions in Geneva, Bangkok, and in New York. Rita leads the UN partnership on conducting post-disaster recovery assessment, and in this capacity, she led the UN delegation in conducting assessment after floods in Kerala in 2018 and Cyclone Fani in Odisha in 2019. Rita has extensive experience in working with multilateral and bilateral agencies in disaster recovery preparedness and post-designing and planning recovery programs. She is a passionate and global advocate for advancing goals of risk reduction and resilience. Her global advisory service built on field experience at country, regional, and global levels of across UN agencies, the European Union, and the World Bank. In all her work, Rita has emphasized the human face of the disaster, particularly its impact on women, children, elderly, and people with disabilities. Rita's key areas of expertise include disaster risk reduction, post-disaster recovery, climate change, disaster displacement, and working with people with disabilities in crisis context. Rita holds a double master in disaster mitigation and English literature with a diploma in disaster management and comprehensive crisis management. With warm welcome to this webinar, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Jharna Patnaik. I request audience, if you have any questions, you can write in the chat box. It will later be answered by the speaker. Now, the wait is over. Please focus on the speaker for the deliberation.
Thank you very much. Namaskar and good evening to everyone. I'm very privileged to join this August gathering of Inner Wheel members. My particular thanks goes to the President Rashmita Maharana, the District Chairman Mrs. Inna Purohit, the Chairperson of this webinar, and Jharna Patnaik for kindly introducing me to this gathering. Just before I would like to start on my subject, I would just like to say a few words that how this webinar came about to me. As you all know, Madhu Chanda is my cousin, and she had for some time told me that we will have a webinar, and we had agreed to it prior to her admission in the hospital. And when she went to the hospital that day evening, she called me and told me we would have to postpone. And unfortunately, her sad demise since, and we've been trying to reconcile ourselves to her leaving us. But I think since I had already made a commitment to her that we would do something together with Inner Wheel, I thought it would be good if we can take this forward. And so, because of the commitment I had made to Shonda before her passing, I thought it might be good for us to, for me to fulfill that commitment by joining a webinar with the Inner Wheel members. So once again, I thank you very much. I must say that after all these years, I do not have that much internal understanding or knowledge of the Inner Wheel work, except through what I have seen through the members, Chanda and Rashmita and others in Cuttack. But I'm very grateful that there is an organization that works specifically in the context of addressing the needs of children and elderly persons. And so in this, I take this opportunity now to move to my PowerPoint presentation. If you allow me, I can share my screen. Can you, if you can see it, kindly confirm that you can see the screen.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So while I was asked to speak on the subject of children orphans and older persons, I kind of veered towards one subject, which is just speaking about older persons in emergency situations for two reasons. One is both the subjects in itself merit a much deeper discussion. The issue of children, the rights of young children, the rights of orphans particularly, is a vast subject within this sphere in separately from the subject of how we deal with older persons. My choice was more, to favor the subject of older persons for two reasons. Number one is October 1st was the International Day of Older Persons. And number two is in COVID-19, the focus has been on older persons. Number three is I work in emergency situations, which includes all sorts of disasters and including the COVID-19 pandemic. And so I was more inclined to talk about this subject, although I will touch on the subject of orphans as well briefly before I move on to the whole subject of how we deal with older person in emergency situation. Thank you. And while I'm speaking, I may speak very fast. So if there is a problem, just let me know and I will stop and speak slowly. The first thing that I want to talk about is give you the typical demographics. So the way I will speak about in the whole subject matter today is this. I will speak about the demographic, that means number of people. And then I will speak about what are the key UN resolution related to that particular set of people. And then I will speak about what is the challenges that they have in emergency situations. And then I will speak about what you and me can do. And then I'll speak about in last what Inner Wheel as an organization can do. So this is the way I will go about my presentation. So to begin with, I start with the whole numbers in how many people, how many older persons are there in India and in Orissa. So about globally, there are about 70.3 crore people, old people. That's around 70 plus million, 703 million people, I would say. And with the highest number of older persons living in Japan and most of Europe. Italy, Japan is leading, and then the rest of the Europe. So even India does not figure in the top 25 countries with the largest number of older persons. That's because in our country, the life expectancy is average is 65 to 70, whereas the life expectancy in Europe is 80 plus. And so with better health facility, with better health care, with better education, working in profession, with better social protection system, they live longer. ତେଣୁ ସେମାନଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ଆୟୁଷ ବହୁତ ଲମ୍ବା ଥାଏ ଆଉ ଆମମାନଙ୍କର ଦେଶରେ ଏଇଠି ଦେଖୁ ଆୟୁଷ ଟିକେ କମ ଥାଏ ସେଠୁ ଓଭରଅଲ ଆମ ନମ୍ବର କମ ଅଛି. And the second reason that it is low is because we have a much larger youth population in India compared to the rest of the world. So Africa and India are the two continents where youth population is much higher compared to the rest of the world. So therefore, tame jetale compare karibo with globally there are about 70 crore people who are older people around. That is the figure from 2019. But in India, we have only 9.4 crore, which is about 6.8% of older people of the total population. And same 6.8% in Odisha counts to 3.25 of the 47 crore people that we have. So this is the number I have in Odisha. When you compare with the global number, it seems a very small number. But why is it important? And I will talk to you how disadvantaged people in older people in India and Odisha particularly are. I will go to that much later. Then we are coming to the issue of the children. Orphans, as you would know, I think the person who introduced Mrs. Jharna Patnaik, the chairperson of this webinar very clearly mentioned that orphans are defined as children who have one parent or lost both parents. Now, initially, the definition of orphan children are those who have lost two parents, but since 1990, the definition has changed to include only one single parent. And this was because there were many children like that, especially in Africa when there was the huge HIV/AIDS pandemic at that point of time. Children who needed help, and just because they were not designated orphan, they could not receive any assistance. So therefore, UNICEF has lobbied and then created this awareness, and there was a UN resolution that these children who have single parents also should be counted as orphans. So at that point of time, when there was a survey in 2015, there was about 1.4 crore orphans worldwide, with Asia having the largest number of orphans. So in reverse to older persons, where we have the lowest number of older persons, it is the largest of number of orphans and children in this country, in the region. Okay, with Eastern Europe and Central Asia being the lowest. So it is reverse in comparison to older persons. That's one point I wanted to make. Number two is there was this resolution also in 2019 that there is a resolution to end institutional care of children. This is an very old approach that we have taken in our country as well, in rest of the countries in the world, that children who are orphans or with single parents will be put in boarding schools or orphanages, what we call orphanages, or care homes and things like that. Now, it has been seen that in such institutions, the chance of abuse of children is extremely high. And I think you would have heard about it. It's not only in institutions in India, globally, Catholic institutions which have children in boarding schools and fathers who look after them or nurses who look after them have abused children systematically over the years. So therefore, there is this call for not institutionalizing children. If there is one child, if there is one parent at least the child should be able to find a home with that one parent or relatives. Now in India, we have a very unique situation as compared to the rest of the world. That is, there is this system of family care, so we try as much as possible to keep the child, even if it is one child. So the typical idea would be in our families is that mamu ghare rahi paribo, ki mosa ghare rahi paribo, ki mausi ghare rahi paribo. That is for us the last resort. And that is what the approach the UN has also emphasized, that the last approach should be, or the last resort should be an orphanage. The first resort should be finding some family for them, whether it is immediate family or if it is extended family, someone to take the children and care for the home so that they live within a family atmosphere and not within an institution. So this is the most important and breakthrough resolution that was made very, very recently. So, and while making sure that you take away children from orphanages, it's important also to enforce that the state government and different organizations provide enough support to that family to take care of the child. Karna, it is not enough that you just hand over a child to them, but you should be able to give resources to take care of the child. Unfortunately, I don't know if it is started enforcing in India. In most countries in the world, there is this system of adopting a child, a foster family, and the foster family is paid a certain amount of money for each child to take care of them. So a monthly amount, like a social protection scheme, that they will give a certain amount to the family who's willing to take care of the children. I know it was started a little bit in India, but I'm not sure where it has gone now. So this is the kind of instead of institutional care, we are looking at care in which they can stay together with family so that they grow up together for their emotional and physical well-being with other children within a family atmosphere, having a parent, even if it is a single parent, the love, affection, and the emotional security that a child can have while growing with a parent is not comparable at all to an institution support where you might have 50 children, 1,000 children, 100 children with very less caregivers in between. So even if the best of institutions cannot be one-to-one, you have usually one parent to 3 children, and in India, an average 5 children, right? But in an institution, you will never have that ratio of caregiver. You will always have to 10, 15, even in the best of institution, 10 children, 15 children will be having one caregiver. And but in India, because the number is very large, it could be 100 children and one caregiver, or sometimes 500 children and then 5 or 6 people only. And so therefore that is the way the UN resolution ended. So basically, what can we, why then I would come to the old issue of older people and blend my discussion about how what is the most vulnerable older people and who are the most vulnerable children. I'll move to that now. For the UN, there is a particular department. I'm now focusing on the subject of aging first, or older persons first, and then I'll go back to children again. For the UN, there is a department called UN Department of Social and Economic Affairs. And in that department, there is a very strong focus on inclusiveness. And within that, they deal with the subject of aging, as they call it now, the subject of aging. And the mission of that particular department, and this is a global department, it's not available in every country. At the country level, it is UNFPA who works a lot with older persons, and UNICEF to a certain extent, but UNFPA usually takes the lead. WHO takes the lead in terms of health issues on older persons. But the mission of this particular department, the UN Department on Aging, is that they try to raise awareness about the need for giving protection to older peoples and the human rights of older peoples. Number two is they talk about how do we make sure that every development program that we are planning has a content that will look at old people as a special category of people that need assistance. It cannot be everything the same for everyone, right? In a class, if you have 30 children, then you would have something designed separately for the one who's most weak as opposed to one who is most strong in your class. So it's that approach, applying that differentiated approach in ensuring that aging people have specific target groups and specific programs is something that they pursue. The other is they try to work with the civil society organizations such as yours. And Chanda had already sent to me how the inner wheel is engaged in the UN process, such as yours, non-governmental organizations and the private sector in their participation in the UN, in joint UN resolutions. That is the last work of theirs, is that how do they support the joint UN resolutions on aging people and older persons. And that is the role of this particular department. So there is a department that focuses only on aging. They do a lot of research. They do a lot of policy and advocacy, but also there are general assembly sessions on older people, and where we have people developing policies and laws related to older persons that can be applied globally. What is WHO has given very clear guidelines about what it is to be able to do in terms of aging. I'm trying to see if I can, okay, thank you. In terms of aging, the one is what do they mean? The aim is always to be healthy while you're aging. So it's not about aging away. That means physical, slow physical deformity or slow physical becoming more and more weak and frail as you go old. But it says about maintaining the ability for the older persons to do the things that you think is best for you, that you value most. That means your physical capacity and mental capacity as you age. Number two is making changes to our environment. And I will talk a little bit about this more, particularly within the house, particularly in public spaces in terms of transportation, so that they are accessible to and supportive to all older people with varying needs and capacities. So one old person is different from the other old person. So how do they cater to the needs of the older people? Number three is to make sure that old people have the sense of security in the place that they are in. Normally, many old people suffer from this sense of insecurity. What's going to happen to me? Who's going to take care of me? And do I have the resources and do I have the mental peace to be able to look after myself and people around me? So making sure that older people feel safe in the place they are, that they are free from poverty, and at the same time contribute to retaining their autonomy. And this is extremely important to understand what is autonomy. And to give you an example, I think I can give you a very simple example of my own family where my mother lives alone in Odisha. And she needs her autonomy. She does not want to come and stay in my house. She does not want to come and stay in any other daughter's house or son's house. She wants to stay in her own house and make decisions for herself and the rest of the family members who stay together with her. So it's important that that autonomy and independence is given as much as possible to the older person, so that that is a sense of dignity, that gives a sense of dignity and respect to them. That's the thing about older people. Okay, so this is what I want to bring to your attention very clearly, both related to orphan children and older persons. What I would say is two things. I'm introducing two words here, which you have heard, I think, several times, but just to bring it again to your attention, not everyone is the same. Not every old person is the same. That old person who lives in Italy is definitely not something that the old person living in India. They may be the same age group. Say President Trump is now about 74 years old. A 74-year-old president of the United States is not as the same as a 74-year-old living in Bhubaneswar, Orissa, for several reasons. And that's why I've made these signs. There may be an issue of gender. That means if it is a male, they seem to have a much more stronger influence or ability in their lives compared to females, because they have been exposed for years to profession, to education. They have had many opportunities before. Number two is they have money, they have access to income. So people, President Trump, the kind of income access he has is not at all comparable to someone he has. So the more you have, once if you're old and you become a woman, if you're an old woman with no money, that's one. Number three is, when I put the box here with the crosses, with lack of healthcare facility. That's the third kind of barrier. Let me put it as barrier. Third kind of barrier that older persons will have. So one is, if you're an old person who is a female, who has no income and who has no access to health facilities. Number four is no access to education. Number five is, in India, there is this whole caste barrier that we have. We talk about people from different castes face different kinds of discrimination, and this becomes more and more pronounced or more and more obvious when they are coming from lower caste, poor people who have no access to health facilities, who have no access to income and education opportunities. Number five is about, other than caste, education, income, health access, and sex, there is this whole issue about that whether that person is living in a little village somewhere or living in a city. So rural and urban divide decides for you your healthcare, decides for your education, decides for you your opportunity. So that's why we see a mass migration of children coming away to the rural. And the last one I want to apply is this little hand that you see with all the benefits. The number of benefits that a person can receive will also differentiate how they will how they will be able to respond, or what is the current status is. So if you are receiving old age pension already, you're receiving health benefits, you receive a lot of care. Like say if you're in a Cuttack city and there is inner wheel around and you're in Daya Ashram, you're likely to many times meet people from inner wheel who will come and give you packages for help, packages of assistance, take you out, do things for you, as compared to someone who sits in some village near Dhenkanal, who will not have access to several of these things that I have listed here. Plus you add if that old person is already disabled. And I would use to transport the same example of vulnerability, the intersection of vulnerability, to old children as well. So if there are orphan children, and if each orphan children living in the States of America, United States of America, compared to an orphan child, a disabled orphan child living in Dhenkanal, the layers of vulnerability can be extremely different one from the other. So this is an important point we must understand. Every old person is not the same. Every orphan child is not the same. There are levels and layers of vulnerability for each one of them that make them worse than the other. One could be worse than the other. And therefore, when we think about what we must do, and I'm sure you have thought about this in your programs, how do we address the people who are at the lowest or the worst level, rather than addressing at the periphery of people who could be at the top tier, at the top tier of one or two layer that I have mentioned. Our target should be the last tier here, people who would have be old, disabled, or children who are disabled and orphaned, children who have less access to benefits, who are in rural areas, who have already are of the lower caste and therefore do not have equal opportunities, lack of education, lack of health care, lack of income, and then probably is a girl child, right? So therefore, as we all have different identities, and that is what I wanted to talk about, is the identity of the woman. Identity, I have an identity of a professional, of a housewife, of a woman, of a mother, of a daughter. And so there are these different identities of a person, and one or the other identity makes me much more stronger. So if I say I am from working in the United States of America, automatically my access to resource, my access to healthcare, my access to education, my access to housing and all facilities is a much more much more advanced than it would be if I had the same job and lived in India. So therefore there is disparity by location, disparity by gender, disparity by age, disparity by caste, and disparity by access to services. And this is the point I wanted to make. Since I work in the area of disaster management, I wanted to bring up this subject about what happens to young children, orphans, young children, and older persons in emergencies, in disasters. And I'm sure everyone, everyone has experienced what it is to live through a cyclone in Orissa. We have had several cyclones, and what was the most devastating one was 1999. And I'm glad that the government of Orissa has actually received international commendation for being able to save the lives of millions of people after what happened in the super cyclone. So over the years they have improved. So when super cyclone, more than 25,000 people passed away, died due to the cyclone. And now, since super cyclone Fani, cyclone Philin, cyclone Amphan, less than 100 people are passing away. That's because the government over the years has been able to bring people to the knowledge and awareness about what they should do when an emergency or disaster is declared. So here we have to understand what is it that about the old people and the young children that makes them high risk in emergency. Number one is children are the most often likely to be separated from their families when a disaster happens. They will be out somewhere, they may be in some corner or something like that. If you're not paying attention, you lose a child. And then if a mother has 2 or 3 children, she does not know she's in any horrible position to try to able to save only one, because that's only what her hand can carry. So there is this tragic stories we have heard about after the cyclone, in which parents are trying to save their children, and they have to sometimes let go of one child when they're trying to save the other. So they are the most likely to be separated from the family. In the case of older people, they are the ones who are often inside the home, And when something happens, when people are running out, they neither have the information nor they are able to go out very quickly. So that's the thing with older persons. Likelihood of physical disability with older person is extremely high. If they are not physically able to move out, then someone has to physically lift them out, and that becomes a secondary response. That is, if it is not unplanned, that's not done. Number 3 is they're cut off from services. By what I mean, one is the 3-4 kind of services. If there is a cyclone coming, I'm sure all of you would want to know when it will hit you, when it will make landfall, at what speed it will hit you. Should I move away? Should I get enough ration and keep inside the house? Should I buy rice, dal, and tea and sugar and water? Drinking water should I keep aside because there will be no power for many days? That means I may not get water. This information, old people, generally no one gives it to them. So they won't even know that, for the next 15 days, there may be all the shops in the area will be shut off. I should buy all my medicines from before. Medical treatment fine, they would have medicines every single day. Even that awareness that, cyclone is coming and there could be an effect in which the medicine store will not be, we cannot access the medical services. So let me buy my medicine for the next 1 month or 15 days. That also information is there, that's what they are cut off. And of course, the issue of psychological distress, especially old people would have also special nutrition needs. That is, if they are diabetic, there's a special kind of diet for them. If they are on dialysis, that's something that they cannot access at all. If they have other health issues, addressing the health issues in terms of emergencies becomes a big problem. And then the last that I want to raise to you is about how older women, especially, and orphan children, once they are orphan, how they're mistreated. There is a sense of abuse, a lot of abuse to particularly that group, because they are left in some corner and asked to fend for themselves. So often you would see when you are distributing something, people who are the strongest and shout the loudest, speak the hard, they're the ones who have access to all the good things that you are distributing, and others will not. And so it's very important that you keep that in mind, that the abuse of children, orphan children and older women is the most likely in any particular disaster situation. Let me come to the pandemic. I don't want to go through all the slides. Pandemic, you have just recently experienced, and that is why I wanted to talk about it. Everyone has recently experienced, and you have seen the overflow of older persons in hospitals due to pandemic. Now, what has happened in the pandemic? It has been a reverse. Older persons in Europe and Italy especially were the largest number of people who died. So 20%, more than 20-25% who passed away in the COVID-19 in Europe and rest of the countries are people who are over 60 years of age. Okay. And so what was the reason? One is all these people are in nursing homes, and if one got infected, everyone got infected with the virus. Number 2 is when nursing homes and old people start getting infected and they are removed to the hospital, if there is a younger person who's more fit and able to fight the disease, so instead of giving the healthcare and ventilator to the older person, the doctors had to make a choice. This was not a deliberate. The doctors had to make a choice because of the limited ventilators, who to give the ventilator to. Should I give it to the younger person who has a long life ahead of him, or should I give it to the older person? This was the choice that every medical doctors, health personnel had to make. And so in that preferential treatment, the younger persons had an advantage and they were given a higher preferential treatment. And that's why a lot of older persons in that preferential treatment were neglected. And so the deaths among older persons was extremely high. This is one. Then I told about neglect and abuse in institution and care facilities. This is because, like even if in institution care, if there is the number of people and number of services is only about taking care during a normal time. It's like a home. Old age home is like a home. So they do not have the kind of health facilities that is required to deal with COVID-19 patients, which can very easily escalate from one day a person having a slight cough to the next day, person having breathing difficulty and needing an oxygen and ventilator. Everybody, I think, has understood this very well, the dangers of COVID-19. So the institution and care facility, they do not have that kind of health services available immediately. then I think the risk of older persons dying from COVID-19 becomes very high. Number 3 is that if there are older persons working, and everybody would have known about this, a lot of companies have laid off people. And a lot of businesses, I'm not talking about companies try to keep people. If it is formal employment, they try to keep people. But if it is informal employment, first thing they will do is tell the old person, don't come because you are high risk. No need to work, you are high risk, please stay at home. Which means they lose whatever income they used to have, they will lose that income. Because even if you do it with a good intention, you are depriving that person of the dignity and right to earn their own income and be able to spend that money for their own care. Number 2 is the whole issue of isolation. And I think many of you would have known this, and I am now experiencing this when I speak to my mother. She's alone in Bhubaneswar, and we all are living outside all through COVID-19 with all these restrictions. We were not able to go and visit her because you have to do a 14-day quarantine when you visit her. And then if you do 14-day quarantine, how many days can you stay? This isolation builds up a sense of insecurity within them, you know. And so this has then plays on your mental health and the health of mental and physical health later on. First it starts with mental health and then physical health. So there is this whole trauma that relates to discrimination of older people, that the understanding is that because I am old, my life does not have that much value as the life of a younger person within my own family. So this stigma and discrimination also continues. So how do we deal with all this? What are the key recommendations WHO has put on for older persons? Number is identify who are the old people at risk. And I want to draw your attention to this person. See, the way you look at old people makes a big difference. You think of them as people who are old, who cannot do anything, who cannot contribute in any way. Or do you think of old people who have enough experience, who have enough wisdom, who have enough, who can be a good caregiver? The way you view old people makes a huge difference. So this lady at the age of 90 or something like that, plus she has run a marathon. So there is this whole issue about how older people are being viewed and how older people can contribute to the community. By restricting them into a category of old people who cannot do anything, we are actually kind of dealing with making them seem much more smaller. Then, of course, the access to health services, good services during the pandemic, making sure that they get enough medical care, then making sure that they get enough mobile services at their doorstep, and then that they have to make sure that these care facilities are always made available to them. This is a slide that I will see one more slide and I will stop. How you and I can help in particularly related to older persons. Number 1 is, of course, the whole physical need aspect. Even simple things like you buying medicines for them and reaching it to their house, or shopping for them, even helping them in their housework or access to healthcare is one of the most critical things that they would want. Number 2 is how do you reach them the information at the right time? That is the most important. They are always worried. No one is telling me anything. You will typically hear this conversation with older people, and even with young orphan children, no one tells them anything. No one consults them anymore on anything. So this whole issue of consulting them for their own benefit for themselves, and that is extremely important. Number three is reaching them with the number 3 is life skill. And I will want to focus only on one life skill here. That is the use of your cell phone. Everybody has a phone these days. Everyone, we try to give them phone. What we don't try to do is transfer the skill that we know, whether it is a Zoom call or using the WhatsApp or using Facebook or using these things. These are important things because they increase their connectivity to persons. And today, I think all of us with the pandemic have learned how to use Zoom. It's because we were not exposed to this earlier. I myself, even if I worked in the UN and do so many webinars, we never do it virtually. We usually have to go and speak somewhere physically. But since March, I have been in many, many meetings and have learned this new technology now. And so also, we need to be very clearly, give them phones. We often give gifts of phones, but also teach them how to use these for their best benefit, right? That's very important. Things like using computers for themselves. accessing government programs, then what we can do with visual aids and audio aids for people, even simple things like even in the toilet, can we install rods in the toilet so that when old people go in there, they have something to hold on to and they don't slip and fall, because slipping and falling is one of the major risk old people have, and it relates to their death. So another thing that I have suggested here is twining young people and children with old people. Children need older parents, and we have all benefited from that. Our grandparents were very close to us and we lived with them. We went to their houses, we played with them, we enjoyed the benefits. They enjoy the benefit of having grandchildren around them. It is an emotional support to each other. So if you provide children with older parents, old age parents, they will be one that will be emotionally satisfying experience for the children, but emotionally satisfying experience also for the parents. Number two is, how do we, in many cities these days, this is happening. Old people, and I've seen this in Kerala when I was there after the floods. Many old people live in big homes in Kerala, as you would know. In compared to India, in India, Kerala is the only state that has the largest number of older persons and the highest life expectancy, right? So people like in rest of India, people would live up to average 70 years of age. In Kerala, they will live up to 80, 85. So they are comparable to Italy and Sweden and France and everyone in Kerala. In the flood that happened, there were two parents who would be left. The rest of the children would be in Dubai or United States or other countries of the world. When the flood happened, huge houses with two old people in it, with no way to contact the rest of the world and tell them, can we get out from here? Can you rescue us? So the whole rescue was about old people in Kerala. Rescue efforts of the government are focused on these massive houses, very, very beautifully built houses, two old people who are sitting there with no way to get out of their house. Or then they don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have power. So what is they have in some European countries, what they have done is, instead of students staying in hostels or other facilities, older people try to bring younger people to stay with them on rent. And that way, the condition is that these younger people will help them in being together with them, spending time with them, getting their medicines, getting their other kind of support. So these twining arrangements of young people with older parents or old people helps a lot. And same way, I think what is important is that the ability, in India, I find this very strange that we think that after a certain age, we cannot even dress up well. The old people cannot dress up well. They are not supposed to enjoy movies. They are not supposed to enjoy games. They are not supposed to enjoy good movies. I think that whole negative connotation of what they should do, they should not do, should be changed completely, because as people are living longer and longer, it's important that they start living the life as any of us would do. If they want to go somewhere, they should go somewhere. If they want to be able to go to a movie and see one, they should do that. If they want to buy expensive saris and wear them, they should do that. If they want to be able to, engage in cooking facilities somewhere, they should do that. So the whole point is that treat them not as someone who will require care, but someone who can be a caregiver. That is the approach that we should be taking. How can Inner Wheel help? So as I mentioned, International Day of Older Persons is October 1st. And, bringing awareness about the dignity and human rights of older people is something that, that everyone can help with. Number two is June 15th is considered the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. I have not even spoken on the subject of elder abuse. Elder abuse doesn't have to be physical. It can be very much mental. It can be, typically telling, no need to ask him. The person you're talking about is sitting inside the room and you're taking important decisions about your child's marriage or a child's education somewhere or moving to some other city. And no, it's okay. No need to ask him. We have decided it's okay, right? So this can be a kind of a mental abuse also. This kind of mental abuse. Oh, for ma, we have to cook, vegetarian food separately, and it will take such a long time. This particular vegetable, she won't eat anything else. So I think those kind of things is something that we must keep in mind. Then the other thing is that make an environment where they can become, advisors and emotional supporters. So with this, I would like to stop because I've exceeded my time, I believe. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. It was beautifully explained. I think the queries of the audience need to be answered. Please, audience, I request audience, if any queries, please write in your chat box.
Good evening, madam. I have a query. You told something about that social protection scheme.
Yes.
About the elders. Can you just put some highlight on it?
So when I mean social protection scheme, typically even in India we have, although it is a very minimal amount, what we call the old age pension, right? That is a government aided or social protection schemes. I am not aware about the whole range of social protection schemes that is there in Odisha and India, but in different countries, perhaps I could give the example of United States or even South Africa, where I was recently talking about old age benefits. So they give them food aid, special package for food aid. They give them special package for health aid. They give them services for taking people from one place to another. There are government supported vans or cars in which old people can go to the hospital and come back, or go to a service center. This is instituted here within the US. So these are protection schemes that help. And then specifically the protection schemes related to the health benefit is the largest benefit that they receive, a guarantee of treatment and care when an old person above 65 years is there. So senior care, what is termed as senior care, is money, food package, health care. At a minimum, the full package is given. And here we have what is called senior care centers, where old people can go and learn computer training, exercise, dance, whether it is dance or exercise, other kind of skill training that they want to do. So that is something that they also promote very highly here, that they are not supposed to sit at home. The more physically able if they are, they go out to the senior care centers and engage in all these other activities with other seniors in a center. So this is the kind of social protection, but it is three things that they talk about: food aid, they talk about healthcare, and they talk about money, a certain amount of money every month. So this is the social protection schemes I'm talking about, and this is something that we should advocate also in India.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I think in India, in Odisha, also in Cuttack, I will say Cuttack Bhubaneswar, one of our members is there, past president Rukumanjari Patnaik of our club only. I think if Mitlopai is here, she can tell about that. Few days back, even in last year also, I had seen that just whatever you told about the senior care center, some members have created that senior care center, and I have seen senior people going there and enjoying their moments and enjoying their time. But this social protection scheme is very nice, and unitedly we also tried to create that in India also.
Thank you.
Anyone having any more queries? I think Madam has explained so nicely that there is no more questions.
Yes, Hina ji. I think so. Thank you, madam. Now I request Sangeeta Das to introduce our district chairman, Mrs. Ina Purohit, a proud past president of Inner Wheel Club of Cuttack Silver City, to the August gathering. Sangeeta Das. Sangeeta, unmute yourself.
You are not audible, ma'am. Your phone, please use your phone.
I
Sangeeta, unmute yourself. Yes, yes. Now it is okay, Sangeeta.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. It's my proud privilege to introduce our 36th District Chairman, Mrs. Ina Purohit, a proficient scholar of Innerfield District 326. No wonder a lady full of new challenges, new hopes, new targets, and us to fulfill them all. This pandemic could not stop her from moving ahead, but made her leadership qualities bloom and expand the horizon of friendship and service. Our theme, Lead the Change, was a motivation to achieve more. She has created history by presenting each event virtually and creating records. डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रोजेक्ट उड़ान ये नई दुनिया की ओर is a challenge for all of us members to keep our spirit live and encourage to reach some higher level. The wheel is moving and so she is. And to her passion and objectives of inner field in mind, she is proving her own determination by focusing. If we can dream, we can do it. But the mantras of 5 Ps to be followed with dreams. That is, proper planning prevents poor performances. With such creative thoughts, I welcome District Chairman Mrs. Ina Purohit ma'am.
Thank you, Sangeeta ji. First of all, I wish today is a very auspicious day, the first day of Navratra. I wish each one of you happy Navratra. Club President Rasmita Maharana ji, Club Secretary Snigdha Purba ji, Webinar Chairman, General Coordinator, Past President Nalini Mohanty ji, my fellow District Executive Committee present over here, and all the past District Chairmen present over here. I can see past District Chairman Pratibha Patnaik ji, past District Chairman Ranjita Vehra ji, past District Chairman Priya Amrut ji, past District Chairman Padma Agarwal ji, past District Chairman Dipti Mohanty ji, past District Chairman Madhumita Mohanty ji, past District Chairman Jayasri Bhattacharya ji, past Association Secretary at BDC Krishna Mohanty ji, and all the past District Chairmen present over here, all the Zonal Coordinators, past all the Innoville Presidents of the clubs, and all the Innoville members, Rotary President of Rotary Mahanagar, Rotary Secretary. I can see Rotarian Vikas Rath ji over here, and all the Rotarians and Innoville members present over here. Innoville Namaskar to all of you. First of all, I would like to pay my tribute to past President Madhuchanda Maharana ji. This webinar was her dream webinar. She used to tell me that, I have arranged a webinar with our UN representatives, and I'd like to do that. So my heartfelt gratitude to her today on this day. And thanks to Madam Sangeeta Das for introducing me so nicely to the gathering. And special thanks to Madam Rita Missal for explaining us so nicely about the elderly and orphan people. Let me explain you, Madam. This year, our association president has given us a goal of HOPE, H-O-P-E, in which 2 verticals cover this oldest person and orphan people. O covers these 2 verticals. So we are working on that from the very beginning, but after today's webinar, some of my vision also got clear that what exactly we should do for the older people. Definitely, we are going to various orphanages. We are doing something for them. We are spending quality time with them, and we are offering some health aids to them. But exactly what should be done for them? Let me tell you 2 last year I visited an old age home near New Jersey. My son was staying there. That was so wonderful, and so nice facilities are over there. So people will love to stay there. Not only older elderly persons, anyone will love to stay there with such facilities. That is that we lack there in India. So we need to work on those things, it's as it is said that Rome was not built in one day. So it's not possible to make such arrangements in sorry, in over 1 year or very nice shortly. But I think as a social organization, we can take steps for creating such facilities for the old age homes as far as we can. So that's a dream project of mine also, not even not in this year. I will definitely try to work on that even after my period is over as chairman also. My dear friends, I just would like to say something. Oldness is said, one prefers rest. He may be 75, but as energetic as 50, he cannot be termed old. कुछ लोग होते हैं वो दिलों से जमा होते हैं, हम उनको ओल्ड नहीं बोल सकते. तो हमारे पास बहुत सारे बहुत अच्छी सबूत है हमारी पास्ट प्रेसिडेंट वेबिनार चेयरमैन नलिनी महांती जी. So this definition differs because they have that power to engage themselves, keep themselves engaged and face the situations. But there are some persons who lack these things, and ऐसा नहीं कि एज से ही ओल्ड हो गए तो वो ओल्ड हो गए. कुछ मतलब कम एज की पीपल भी जो हैं, and they lack these qualities, and we can refer them as old also. But if circumstances hamper his psychology, he gradually breaks, or his body gives up, he tends to be old. Then he needs support. So the term old, when he seeks support or a soldier to rest open, but often is such who is destined to lose one of his parents or both of them, as you all told. It's then when he or she, due to circumstances, become untrained or go vagabond. Old and orphans, they are not parallel lines because they meet when someone gives them a hand to rise or shelter. If they manage to get a support, they rise above and lead a proper disciplined life. It is the responsibility of the society, or we as the social workers, to embrace them, not harass them. They both are social responsibilities, our responsibilities. So we should treat them equally and sensitively. Every human being tends to become old once, and even orphans once, for sure in the lifetime. So as the saying goes, as you sow, so you reap. So if we do for them, our karma will surely award us one day. I liked very much Madam's point that I would like to explain that to our club presidents also. जैसे आप लोग सब यहाँ पे हैं, अदर क्लब प्रेसिडेंट्स ऑल्सो, मैं पहले भी बताई कि हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं ऑर्फनेज में, बट आज की डिलिब्रेशन के बाद आई गॉट सम पॉइंट्स व्हिच आई विल लाइक टू repeat here, like gifting phones and teach them its use, smartphones, and establishing rods in the toilets in old age home, which is a must essential. हम लोग इसके ऊपर काम कर सकते हैं. Visual aids, providing them visual aids and other health aids. Twinning with young people and children. Accessing government benefits and social protection programs. Mental health, इसके लिए हम बीच-बीच में करते हैं. But the more focus should be what I got very specific today. Arranging games and exercises, yoga classes for them. Show them movies through some PowerPoint projector or something. This we can do for building their mental agility, and access them healthcare, medicines, food and basic supplies. Already you people are doing, and treat them, the most important thing, what Madam told, treat them as someone who can be a caregiver. That was so nice, Madam. That was so nice of you. And I always like one of my lines, one of our friends' lines. हम जब हमको कोई पूछता है कि आप आपके घर में कौन कौन रहते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं कि मैं, मेरे बच्चे और मेरे पेरेंट्स. बहुत ही कम लोग बोलते हैं कि मैं अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ रहती हूँ, मैं अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ रहता हूँ. So let's develop that habit. We are staying with our parents, not they are staying with us. Till they are alive, we are the kids in front of them. So we are staying with our parents. And जो बात मैडम ने बोला कि foster parenting की बात, वो भी बहुत अच्छा लगा मुझे. And we can try for that also. If we can give some orphans some protection schemes and some familiar surroundings, then we should work for that also. So after today's webinar, let's. But यहाँ पे मैं और एक बात भी बोलना चाहूँगी मैडम, जैसे कई लोग बोलते हैं कि ऑर्फनेज और ओल्ड एज होम को मर्ज किया जाए, बट देयर इज द चांसेस ऑफ मिसयूजिंग ऑफ इट. जैसे कई ओल्ड एज होम में बच्चों की अब्यूज होने की भी चांसेस है, और बच्चे जो हैं उनमें से काफी डिजीज्ड होते हैं अगर ऑर्फनेजेस की, तो उनमें से जो ओल्डर एज की पर्सन है उनकी इम्यूनिटी सिस्टम अगर कम होती है तो वो भी अफेक्टेड होने की संभावना रहती है. सो आई थिंक दीज आर सम पॉइंट्स ऑन विच वी शुड वर्क ऑल्सो, कि उसके लिए अवेयरनेस कैसे क्रिएट किया जाए. और देयर आर सो मेनी पॉइंट्स आफ्टर दिस वेबिनार. आई थिंक वी गेट क्लियर पॉइंट्स टू वर्क ऑन इट. सो लेट्स वर्क ऑन इट. थैंक यू.
Thank you, District Chairman, Mrs. Ina Purohit. Needless to say, we look forward for your deliberation always. You are a speaking person that attracts attention. Now I request media partner to shower our love and token of appreciation with a memento to our guest.
I just saw past district chairman Vijayalakshmi Mahavar ji over here. Welcome Mahavar aunty ji. And I think Mahavar aunty ji की बर्थडे था आज या कल था. Mahavar aunty आप unmute कर सकते हैं. She wants to tell something.
Hello everybody.
हाँ जी बोलिए.
Good evening ma'am.
इनरव्हील नमस्कार.
कल आपकी बर्थडे,
मेरा बर्थडे था जैसे आपने कहा.
आपकी जन्मदिन की बहुत हार्दिक बधाई. आई कैन सी पास्ट डिस्ट्रिक्ट चेयरमैन मंजू मुखर्जी जी आल्सो हियर. वेलकम मंजू जी. हाँ जी बोलिए महावर आंटी. महावर आंटी कुछ बोलना चाहते थे. अभिषेक यू कैन फोकस ऑन हर. हाँ जी बोलिए.
नहीं, आप सब लोगों की इतनी बेस्ट विशेष और पूरा जो एक अपनत्व मिला जो अभी आप डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ओल्ड एज का, तो मैं यहाँ कहना चाहूंगी आई हैव कंप्लीटेड माय 74 इयर्स एंड माय इनरव्हील मेंबरशिप इज ऑफ 40 इयर्स. एम आई?
यस यू
आर यू हियरिंग?
हाँ जी. हाँ मैम.
यस मैम
बोलिए.
बट जैसे आपने कहा कि मैं दिल से जो एज है मेरे पे कोई इफेक्ट नहीं है. एवरी टाइम आई वांट टू बी इन फ्रंट ऑफ एवरीथिंग इन माय होम आल्सो एंड पॉसिबली इन डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैटर्स आल्सो. थैंक यू वेरी मच. इट इज योर लव एंड ब्लेसिंग्स. थैंक्स टू गॉड.
Belated happy birthday madam.
Thank you.
Now I request media partner Abhishek to shower our love and token of appreciation with a memento to our revered guests. Thank you, Abhishek. Now I handed over the session to Club President Rasmita Maharana. Hopefully, I have done justice of being the webinar chairman of today's seminar, which our beloved past president, Madhuchanda Maharana, had dreamed of. Thank you to all. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, ma'am, webinar chairman, Mrs. Nalini Mahanti, for conducting the meeting smoothly. Now I request club secretary Snigdha Purba to offer vote of thanks.
President. Innerville Namaskar to all of you. Thank you, President, for giving me the opportunity to propose to vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to propose to my heartily vote of thanks to our chief guest, Dynamic District Chairman, Mrs. Ina Purohit, for gracing today's webinar. My heartfelt thanks to our keynote speaker, Mrs. Rita Misal, ma'am. I thank you, ma'am, for your interesting and thought-provoking address. I thank you all
You are not audible.
I think net problem. Probably
who
net
are
problem.
all the webinar successful. One, my heart.
In one words, special thanks to all who are present over here today on behalf of Club Secretary Snigdha Purba. I think उनकी bandwidth low है.
अभी सुनाई दे रहा है?
अभी
हाँ
सुना.
हाँ 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 सुनाई दे रहा है, बोलो.
My heartfelt thanks to all the PDCs who have graced to occasion. My heartfelt thanks to all journal coordinators, webinar chairman. I would like to thank all my presidents, secretaries, my home club members, and all our Innerville sisters for attend today's webinar. Last but not the least, my thanks to our media partner Abhishek to help us for making grand success webinar. Once again, thank you all for your cooperation. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Snigdha. Now request District Vice Chairman, Innerville District 3 to 6, Mrs. Manisha Srivastava, to acknowledge the meeting.
Thank you, President. Good evening, everyone, and happy Navratri to all. जरा सा दिल नहीं टूटा कि हम रोड देते हैं, दर्द उनसे पूछो जिनकी आंख खुलने से पहले ही वो अपने माँ बाप खो देते हैं. All my life I have been taught how I die, but no one ever taught me how grow old. So, behalf of all my executive members and former past district chairman, instead of heartfelt thanks to Host Club of Cuttack Silver City for organizing such a heart-touching webinar, often and old people, my heartfelt thanks to so much keynote speaker Rita Michelle ji for indeed such an eye-opening explanation of this topic. Thank you, my heartfelt President Rashmita Maharana ji, Club Secretary Singna Prabha. It's Singna, isn't it?
Sigda.
Sigda Purva, Rashmita Maharana, Club Secretary, and webinar chairman IPP, Mrs. Nalini Mahanti. Thanks to all my dear Innerville sisters for your valuable presence. I also thanks to media partner Abhishek for conducting webinar. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So,
thank you
for sharing the words of wisdom and valuable thoughts. Let us rise up for national anthem.
Before that, I would like to say, Club President Rasmita ji, can you ask the media partner to unmute all if anyone wants to say something over this topic and share their experience, they can.
Officer, please.
I think I would like to request past President Rupamanjari Patnaik present over here. Milopa, if you can share some of your experience of the senior care home So that will be nice.
You, Inna.
Yes, Nilopa.
This was very wonderful. So a very emotional beginning when Chanda's name was taken. It is a very interesting topic for me, from topic of my choice. I have been involved in taking care of senior citizens in families since since past few years, and now I have been involved in a organization where two young ladies, they are taking care of senior citizens, and how they have made them younger with their activities and beautiful things. And as madam says, the points I liked very much, because I mostly use those points like the bathroom rod and everything. I have made arrangement for my father, for the elders in our family, and so many things are there. And madam pointed out, Rita Misalji, it was really very interesting, and we all should know how to take care of the elders. From this, we got to know certain things. We should, the caretaker are more important to know how to know the feelings, the points to take care of the elders. So this type of seminars are most welcome in future also. This much.
Abhishek?
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
May I say a few words?
Yes, yes, Rita. Yes.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Well, I think I would just like to say that it is a great opportunity for me to share my experience a little bit. Also, I think I'm just keeping in mind, old age is a very relative term, right? So today, for my children, I'm already old. You know, even if my mother is there, I think my mother is old. My mother has someone who is older than her, another 10 years older. She is old for her. My mother is still not old. So old age is a very relative term. You know, the important point is an attitude towards what we think is old age. So it's not about the age. It's about the capacity of that particular person and how we can increase that capacity of that person to contribute and be someone that they can enjoy being themselves, you know, not living under the shadow of another person, you know. So this whole, I like the idea that you said that we don't live with we live with our parents and the parents don't live with us. You know, that's important. The identity, if we can give them this identity, I think this is very important, the dignity that they deserve, because we are from them, you know, and so our identity should come from them. So they are not my father and mother, but I am their child. And I think, thank you very much for this opportunity. And this has been also very helpful for me to know how Inner Wheel has been engaged in different activities in supporting children and old age. I did have some idea about it, but not at depth as you have explained. So I'm grateful to everyone for their kind words and you know, allowing me this opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you
and
so
for the
much.
memento as well.
Rasmita ji, we can move with the next agenda.
Thank you so much. Let us rise up for national anthem. Abhishek. Now meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for joining the meeting.
Thank you, Rasmita ji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.
Rashmita,
Thank you.
Rashmita, thank you.
Thank you.
Call me, you telephone me also.
Thank
Manju
you,
ji,
ma'am.
past district chairman Manju Mukherjee ji. I think most of the members आप लोग देखे नहीं होंगे मंजू जी को बहुत बार. So we have the opportunity to see her today here. So let me introduce her, past district chairman Manju Mukherjee ji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rasmita ji, I would like to take your leave.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Madam, namaskar. Namaskar. ତମେ ଫୋନ କରିଥିଲ ମୁଁ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଜଏନ କଲି.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hello, Manju ji.
Yes. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Ashmita called me yesterday. I told okay, I'll try.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, Mrs. Mahawar. Nice seeing you after such a long time.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining the meeting, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
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 Abhishek, please.
Ma'am, shall I close the meeting?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you, ma'am.